Good evening, everybody, and welcome to, well, if not a packed Crucible Theatre, certainly there's smattering of an audience, which is nice to see, Stephen.
Yeah, congratulations to the 300 that are in for creating an amazing atmosphere.
Thanks, guys.
For these players to walk out to.
9th frame. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
And this will be a very interesting session. Obviously, it was a little flat this afternoon. Both players not at their best. I think Kyron definitely suffering from that epic final frame against Anthony McGill. So, can he raise his game in this second session? Because he's going to need to. Somehow, he's got to win it, hasn't he?
At the very least, he's got to win this session. Even if it's 5-4. Just to win the session would be enough to give him that boost going into the second day, even though he'd still be behind. It would just give him that bit of confidence. But if he loses this session, well, as I've already said, I can't see him winning this match.
He's certainly going to have to up his scoring, but I felt for him in the opening session. We've all been there at the Crucible where it's not quite going your way and your game's not there. You've got to hope this next session is different from the first one. Say, Ronnie wasn't at his scintillating best either, but it was good enough for the 6-2 lead, so he'd have been delighted with that. Even though he probably wouldn't tell you he was.
No, Ronnie basically just, you know, he went through the motions a bit. He was a bit subdued, but he picked up the pieces that were left by his opponent. So the one highlight was the century break, obviously. But there was lots of gesturing towards his cue action, his back arm, whenever he missed shots. See, we've seen a lot of that. We've seen a lot of that the last 2 or 3 matches, actually. Are we going to get one of those blistering sessions that he's famous for here at the Crucible? He virtually never misses.
One.
Okay, put it to red, but it doesn't really do him any favours. Even the roll up against the black should be an easy escape.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 1.
Just a bit of careful that red that's next to the blue, really.
Yeah, it's following the pattern of quite a few frames we've seen, semi-final and final, where there's been reds knocked up into the balk area. So, can't really do much, just drop in the side of the pack.
Can you see the red near the blue? Does that cut to the middle?
Well, he's been very attack-minded, that's for sure. Definitely was in the Selby match. He thinks he can get past the pink to cut it. That's too thick. One of those shots that if you're playing it with a little bit of left-hand side, it can push in. It's exactly what you'll get, is a thick contact.
One.
Yeah, my comments 6-2 saying the game was over. I could qualify that by saying the way Ronnie's played, I think he's there for the taking. Kyron can just find that bit of form.
Yeah, sure.
One thing he's got to do, though, and do better, is his cue ball. I know we
5.
analyse things to the nth degree, but I do have to say that the cue ball from Kyron wasn't great, certainly this afternoon. Just needs to be up the grade. Keep giving yourself shots where you're further away from the object ball than you should be. Just get that little neater and tidier. Makes the job easier.
6.
You could tell Kyran was certainly off colour in the opening session because he started missing balls with the rest, which he just doesn't do. So, it's a big shot this. It's usually what happens, right in the middle of the pocket. He is exceptional with the rest. He was missing a few of them today, so just one of them horrible sessions you can have
9.
in this place. I mean, for him to be down at 71%, you know he was struggling. Nothing between them in the overall. That would be Kyran's percentage dragged down by this morning.
10.
Needs to score a few here.
Yeah, I'd just like to win a couple of frames with, you know, in one visit with nice breaks, just to get a bit of momentum going.
I
16.
think in his match with Judd Trump in the quarter-final, he had 9 frames he won in one visit. That was pretty good scoring by anybody's standards. They could do with a bit of that this evening.
$23.
Still 3 or 4 reds available.
24.
The last 3 matches, these two players played against each other.
29.
I've ended up in final frame deciders. Usually been pretty good stuff. The only one time there's been quite a lot of distance between him in the final was back in 2017, where Ronnie beat him 9 frames to 2 and had 4 centuries and 4 breaks over 70. Played out of his brains in that match, but generally it's been pretty close. And he's not afraid of a battle, is Kyran.
37.
Imperative gets a good angle in the black this time.
38.
That's not a good angle, so there is a red to the left of the bunch. Goes to the left middle. He's also coming round, you can see, looking for a possible plant to left corner. Red just jumped slightly.
Looks better already. He did in the opening
45.
session.
Thought that was near Joe, but it somehow managed to sneak in. I thought he'd missed this.
Yeah,
Actually can't believe how it's gone in.
I'm not being funny, but that pocket's playing big. It did last night. There was a shot Ronnie knocked in the last frame that fell in, and there's been a couple today. For whatever reason, that one seems to be a little bit more generous than the other one. Just an observation, but there's a few going in you wouldn't expect. And that Looks like end of break.
53.
Yeah, when it hit the reds, there was no more momentum on the cue ball. It just died as soon as it hit the reds. Didn't have the optimum angle, because you want the cue ball to keep spinning once it makes contact with the reds. It didn't do there. It just stuck. But I would agree, that little visit to the table was the best he's looked the whole final.
Such a difference not landing on a ball there. If he just could have won that frame in the one visit, absolute boost to his confidence and show his opponent that he's a lot better than he was this morning. Wants
Karen
that to
Wilson.
slow down.
53.
That's not a good shot. Cue ball should have been tight on the top cushion. Whatever he did, he's giving Ronnie a chance at the pot. And you know what mood he's been in for the last few days.
One.
And that's what you get for not finding the cushion.
Yeah, it was almost as if he tried to play the snooker, where you just needed to be tight on the cushion.
Yep. Big mistake. And aside from the one red that's on the left-hand side there, which isn't particularly difficult, this board is absolutely ripe for a counter clearance. He might be a few points in front in this game, Karen Wilson, but he's probably second favourite.
5. Six.
And that never looked to be a good angle on the red to drop on the black, but what's he going to do now? Black is cuttable with the rest.
Yeah, from looking like he was in absolutely ideal position within a couple of shots, he's now having to take this on.
That was a very un-Ronnie O'Sullivan-like strike of the ball.
Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Hit at that.
6.
That wasn't a stroke. That was a hit.
Yeah. I can't believe he'd lost the cue ball in so few shots. So a reprieve for Karen Wilson there. He must have been fearing the worst, sitting in his chair. And of course Ronnie's miss has knocked another red onto the side cushion, which makes it more difficult for him. Well, good double, and possibly that red that was over the middle pocket made it a bigger hole, but didn't get on the black, so needs to get tight in behind it if he can.
Would you play this cushion first before the pocket to get? I think it's the only way you can get tight in behind it.
Ronnie O'Sullivan. 1.
Maybe Ronnie he wants to leave Karen Wilson the red in the bulk area because it's not the easiest safety shot.
Actually, quite good thinking from Ronnie, that. Initially, you're thinking get tightened behind it, but he's just basically covered the 2 reds on the right.
Foul.
Well, answers on
And
a
a miss.
postcard for that one.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 4.
That was never anywhere near. So another chance to get back into the frame.
The redness next to the yellow looks, from our angle, one of them instances where it's hard to know which pocket it goes into, the right, middle or the left corner. Don't know whether it's actually touching the yellow. See, from there it doesn't look like it goes in the middle, but it could be wrong. Obviously does.
Kidded me. I thought there's
8.
definitely wants to take the other side and back into the same pocket as the black, but he's satisfied it goes.
Nine.
Lovely angle in the black, just screw past the left middle pocket. So this is a shot.
16.
Is he risk screwing back for blue or pink? Probably not pink, because I don't know where if it goes in its own spot, so maybe just out for the green. I would say blue is the best ball to play for.
17.
Put it beautifully.
What a steal this would be. It's taking him 2 bites of the cherry, but it's going to hurt just the same. Split on the reds earlier than this frame is going to hurt Kyron severely.
22.
Stuck on the reds in the middle. He's not coming at a great angle here.
$24.
He played that really well.
$27. $31.
Nothing worse than having a frame stolen. You should have won earlier, especially when you're trying to play catch up.
$36.
Now, he hasn't come straight, has he? Can you believe that? Anything bar.
Well, it was almost worse than straight. It was just off straight the wrong way, but look at the
42.
parry he's got in the cue ball there, but this is not a nice black. What a steal from Ronnie O'Sullivan. Took him 2 or 3 bites of the cherry. Oh, Wilson, very disappointed to lose that first frame. It trails now 7 frames to 2.
Well, Kyron, the warrior, Wilson, has got an even tougher fight on his hand now, Steve.
Yeah, it was a grafting clearance from Ronnie O'Sullivan. Nearly looked like he would have gone wrong, but Ronnie played a clever shot towards the end of that frame to give himself a chance. See, he's on the black here, and we were discussing in the studio, Ken, what was he going to do? Roll up in tight behind the black, but then the black keeps safe, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was a very clever shot because he needs the black out in the open. So what does he do here? He sort of forces in his opponent to maybe take the red up on the left-hand side to bring that into play, but Kyron tries to get out, hit the red over the right-hand side middle, makes a mistake, and then Ronnie clears up. But what a steal for Ronnie. And if you thought Ronnie wasn't really interested or, you know, doesn't want this world champion, you can see how long he stayed down after that he potted that black. He knows how much that will hurt his opponent.